Homer and Marge having relationship problems is probably the most common type of Simpsons episode. To the point, it's been way overdone. Often when I see another one pop up, it's like, really? This again? That's why I was relieved when I saw an episode about their relationship that was basically the opposite, where the kids thought they were too happy with their relationship and thought they were in a rut, insisting that they do more of each other. By the way, it's called Pixelated and Afraid, and it's easily one of the best actually modern Simpsons episodes. It's not one of those times when people say, this modern Simpsons episode is awful, and it was like made 15 years ago. Just like how the episode I'm going to talk about in this video was made 10 years ago, and is not modern Simpsons. This is another relationship drama episode, and it might be the worst, because it involves adultery. Now, there have been times where adultery has almost happened in the past, even going back to season 1 with Marge and Jock. And another major time was with Homer and Mindy, where people have even speculated online that Homer only fantasized about sleeping with Marge that night and actually was with Mindy. Which is just ridiculous, people. They would never actually have Homer cheat on his wife. Oh, wait a second. They would! Because that's what happens in this episode. And it's not speculation. It just happens. So, why don't we dive into this episode and see if every man's dream is the worst Simpsons ever. But before we begin, I'd like to give a shout out to our patrons. If you like our content and want to support us, consider becoming a patron, where you get access to all our videos 1 week early. If not, a like and subscribe goes a long way. Thank you. Now let's get to the episode. It begins at the nuclear power plant, where Homer is awakened by an alarm blaring and his workstation exploding, which he decides to continue sleeping through? Seriously, dude? How could you sleep with that loud ruckus? It would be so annoying. He then gets lit on fire, because he decided to sleep through everything exploding around him. Dr. Hibbert runs a test and discovers that Homer has narcolepsy, where they show Bart as much of a psycho as he was in the last video I made, when he joyfully wants to pull the plug on his father. But we do get a funny moment from Dr. Hibbert.
Narcolepsy is merely sleeping sickness, and many narcoleptics do lead normal lives by avoiding stressful triggers like, let's say...
Helping with the laundry?
Exactly.
Having to pay my doctor's bill?
Don't play with me, man. I will mess you up.
Dr. Hibbert then gives Homer a doctor's note, which Homer can use to get out anything he doesn't want to do, which Homer, of course, abuses. We then see Homer at the pharmacy, trying to pick up a prescription for his narcolepsy, where he gets stuck behind a bunch of old people. And we get this great moment.
Any idea when you'll get to me?
Well, there's 4 old people ahead of you, so how's Thursday at 1?
Oh, you know, it's funny that you should say 1, 'cause that's how many grandchildren that I have.
I'm gonna have grandchildren by the time I get through this line.
Oh, that's so nice. Well, congratulations.
After that, Homer comes home smelling of beer, causing Marge to get angry at him, which is an interesting development. As far as I know, this implies Marge hates Homer drinking. Okay, that's new. Homer then says he's willing to work it out in counseling, coming off like he really wants to go to counseling for some reason. Like he's gonna cheat on Marge with the counselor. He doesn't, by the way. They then go to counseling, where Marge sounds utterly miserable in her marriage.
I know this marriage isn't perfect, or even great, but now I treasure the moments where it's just so-so. I'd kill for okay.
The counselor first suggests that they go through trial separation, before almost immediately saying they should just get a divorce. But they don't actually get divorced in this episode. They do split up though, and we get a rather sad moment with Homer leaving his family. I mean, they've shown him getting kicked out of the house before, but it's never been like this. We see Homer sleeping at work, where you get this funny line.
Poor guy, living at the plant.
And yet he's still late.
Which is followed up by a sad montage of Homer living at the plant. We then see him happy, because he thinks Marge is fully gonna take him back, like all the other times, which Lenny ruins, telling Homer that Marge changed her relationship status to "it's complicated." Hey Lenny, Why are you looking up your friend's wife's marital status? Homer then calls Marge, and finds out Marge switched to her maiden name, Marge Bouvier. Ugh, this isn't good. We then see Homer drinking at the bar, discussing how he lost Marge. And Barney jumps on wanting to date Marge. Geesh, first Lenny, now Barney. You guys are bad friends. Ironically, Moe tells him to knock it off when it comes to Marge. The guy comes off like he's in love with Marge half the time. Had the decency to not immediately go after Marge. Homer then gets a call from the pharmacy to pick up his prescription.
Well, that man just won the saddest man in the bar competition. I was so damn close.
We then see him at the pharmacy, where the pharmacist thinks Homer's asking her out, which he wasn't.
You want to go out or not?
Well, I don't know what you see in me. I'm just a lonely guy with a bag full of drugs.
Come with moi.
So she wants to date him for his drugs. You know, I don't think this woman should be allowed to be a pharmacist. They then go on a date, where Homer really seems like he just doesn't care. So she drugs him. Alright. Well, at least he knows there's drugs in this drink, so it could have been worse, I guess. He then gets high and starts roaming the city with her, until he wakes up in her bed. So yeah, Homer and Marge were separated, but they weren't divorced. So you could argue it doesn't count, but much like Ross and Rachel, it totally freaking counts, people. Homer did cheat on Marge.
I gotta call my wife.
I thought you guys were separated.
I'm the kind of man who never gives up hope.
So he never gave up hope, but cheated on his wife. This woman did drug him, so there's that. However, he did agree to take the drugs. So it's complicated. He then calls Marge and finds out she's going on a date, and he loses all hope. He then just starts dating the pharmacist, and gets matching tattoos? Seriously? You just started dating. This is a really weird and sad episode. She then introduces Homer to her dad, while meeting her dad's new girlfriend, Marge. Oh my. I don't like this. But of course it was gonna be Marge, wasn't it?
Okay, we can be adults about this. Waiter, champagne?
This, naturally, turns into a massive argument. Then the guy proposes to Marge, after knowing her for 3 weeks. Wow. During a massive argument with your daughter and her boyfriend, who is married to your girlfriend. This guy knows the perfect time to propose after 3 weeks. But it works. Marge agrees to marry him. Then Homer's girlfriend says she's pregnant. What the hell is going on here? Wait a second. I know where this is going. This is one of those it was all a dream bullcrap, isn't it? Isn't it? Yep. It was all a dream. So this episode was a complete waste of time. And I'll be honest, I'm kinda glad it was all a dream. Because the first half was just depressing. And then Homer cheats on Marge, which would have made me never look at Homer the same again. So sure, it was all a dream. Let's just go. Wait a second. There's still a good amount of time left in the episode. Okay, I guess let's continue then. So Homer was sleeping through the counseling session, and says his dream changed him, and agrees to do good for a whole month to prove he's a changed man. And he does! And we see none of it. I said there was some time left, not enough for a whole new subplot. Then Lisa says because of Homer's new love, she's now eating meat? And Maggie's talking? Not just talking, but singing. Wait a second. This is really weird. Oh, damn it. This is another dream? No freaking way. Are you kidding me? Yep, it was all a dream. And Homer's sleeping at a bar when he was out with the pharmacist. So that was all real? What's going on here? Homer seems as baffled as I am, and goes rushing back home, only to find Marge's fiancé having dinner with Homer's family. He then breaks down and starts to cry about how he lost everything. But then Lisa opens the door and says he didn't lose her. Wait a second. How could she have heard him through the wall? He wasn't screaming or anything. No. No. No, no, no. It was all a dream. Marge's dream? Wait, what? So Marge had a dream, where Homer had a dream, about Homer having a dream, where they broke up and he cheated on her. Is this right? Is this how Inception worked? If it is, I hate it. I'll be honest, I was fully expecting this to be another dream. But no, it wasn't. So they go back to the marriage counselor, I think? Or they never went there before. I have no idea at this point. All I know is the counselor tells Marge that her relationship is fine. Or whatever. Just end this damn episode. Just kidding. This was all a tattoo on the chick from Girls? The end. Yes, that's how the episode ended. I'm just gonna say this very simply. Screw this episode. What the hell was this crap? I don't even know what was real anymore. Was any of it real? Probably not. Who knows? Screw the audience, right? You know what? I know what this episode was. They had an idea for an episode, made it really freaking sad, had Homer cheat on Marge, and had no idea how the hell to get back to normal at the end of the episode. So what did they do? Just said screw it, we don't have to. Having dream on dream on dream. This was just a lazy ending for a bad premise. And it was just an awful episode, where they clearly didn't try. Screw this episode. I can absolutely see why people hate this episode, and I fully agree. It sucks. That's why I'm obviously giving it an F. While it did have some good jokes near the beginning of the episode, once this girl enters the plot, it all goes downhill fast. And it doesn't help that she's voiced by that creep, Lena Dunham. So yeah, it had some good jokes, but a sad premise that just keeps digging into you about how sad it is. Then Homer cheats on Marge. Marge marries another dude, and it ends with a lazy plot device, and purposely tries to confuse the audience. This episode was just crap. But is it the worst Simpsons ever? This is tough, actually. Now that I have some time away from that horrible episode, the greatest story ever doed, with the worst guest star in television history, I can think more clearly. Is this sad, poorly written, and just insulting episode worse than that? I'm going to say no. No, it isn't. When I think about which episode I would rather watch again, which I never want to watch either of these episodes again, but if I had to, I would choose this episode over the greatest story ever doed, making that still the worst episode. But I'm going to say this episode is actually right up there. And we'll say it's worse than the Panda episode, which is saying a lot. So the top 3 worst so far is the greatest story ever doed, this one, and then the Panda episode. But how long will that last? As we see if the next episode I review can topple these bad episodes. And what episode is that? Well, since Mother's Day is coming up, and if you're watching this later in time, and Mother's Day is long over, just pretend Mother's Day is still coming. And I guess, Merry Christmas. So, with Mother's Day looming for everyone, everywhere, I thought I'd watch an episode where Mom takes center stage. And what better episode is there for that than the one where Marge forces herself onto Homer? Yep, that happened. At least it's not a panda, I guess. Tune in next time for that episode. And as always, thank you for watching.